Good afternoon and welcome to today's Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the UK. I live in the small market town of Brackley, which is near Silverstone Racing Circuit, if anybody knows where that is. So thank you for joining me. Yesterday, these were the cards that we created. Actually, it was these two here. I'll just move these out of the way. These two cards here, using the Enjoy the Moment stamp set, which is this one here. So a really nice sort of line art drawing design, which you can use just in single colours or multicolours and doesn't require any colouring in if you don't want to. So if you were with me yesterday and saw that, thank you so much if you joined me live. Obviously if you joined me on catch up and commented, then that's great, thank you. So I did discuss yesterday doing a one sheet wonder, stamping with the same stamp set to create multiple cards out of one A4 sheet. So that is what I'm going to do today. So let me just check and make sure my messages and everything are working on the screen. Looks hopeful. So after yesterday's session, I did two things. One is I actually re-inked my early espresso ink pad because it was looking very light. So I created this card, which is obviously on the same basis as this one. And what I did was I actually used some blends pens for a little bit of colouring in. So, and I did the same on the envelope. Hello Molly, and I did the same on the inside. You can see that. So I just wanted to show you the difference really between the two. So this is just stamped without any colouring in, and this one is stamped and coloured. Hello Carol, I presume you're still at work, Carol. I've moved my chair over for some reason, which is why I'm lopsided. I do apologise. So those are the I just wanted to do another one to see what it looked like coloured in, and I was really pleased with it. And you can also see the difference between the two because I re-inked my early espresso ink pad. So those are the ones we did yesterday. This one I did the little seed pod on the inside and used the same paper on the inside as it was an early espresso layer. And then for these I've used a crumb cake layer. Hi Jeanette, thanks for joining us again. So, and that's the envelope, and then this was the other envelope. So I thought what I would do, as I promised, was a one sheet wonder using these stamps. So I thought I would do it on some very vanilla. Oh, hi Julie, nice to have you join us again. I know you joined us last week, so thank you so much. So I'm going to use some very vanilla card for this one, and I think I'm going to do, I just so want to do autumn colours because of the theme. But I also want to try one with some spring colours. So what I'm going to try and do is introduce, so I've got crushed curry, I've got mossy meadow, and merry merlot. I've got those colours, which are really autumnal, aren't they? Early espresso, and I've got crumb cake here. And I might introduce some soft suede as well, I'm not sure. So those are the colours, and I haven't really got an idea on how I'm going to do this one. So I'm just going to start. What I'm probably going to do is not do all of these stalks, because I don't want them to get in the way of the flowing, hopefully flowing of the stamps. So there are a few extras here that I haven't got ready, so let's just do that now. I've got some extra blocks here. So I hope everybody's had a reasonable week. I know a few people are having a tough time this week. It's just been really tough for people, and just know that my thoughts are with you all. Ooh, as well as knocking everything else off. So these little seeds are cute. So I'm going to leave the sentiments off, and I may add the sentiments on, and I may also add a few more stamps if I need it for just some depth, really. Just going to pop that one on there, switch that one over. Okay, so let's give this a go and see what it looks like. So I'm going to start with this one, and let's get cracking. Okay, and I'm thinking do this one in crushed curry. So all I'm going to do is ink up really the flower head and not the stalk, and I'm just going to do that the easy way, which is use the bottom edge of the stamp pad, because there's no there's very little plastic on the edge, and you can get really close in. If you do it on here, you very often will catch this lip on the edge here, okay, and also here. So do it on the very bottom. Now I have no idea how much ink is in this ink pad, so I'm just going to stamp it off to have a look see first. Hardly any, but that's okay. We can work with that. So you just have to remind me not to ink up the whole. If you see me inking up the whole stamp, let me know. So I'm just going to do this in a sort of band of 3, like so. Hi Tracy. Thanks for joining us, and it was lovely to catch up with you last night. Let me just let Cassie out. Oh. Pick up my early espresso ink pad. So we're having a play with a one sheet wonder. Actually, it's quite a while since I've done a one sheet wonder. I can't actually remember when I did one last, or even what I used for it. I'll have to look back. So I'm just putting these in sets of 3, like so, so they almost look like sort of you're looking down on them from the top. Can you see that okay? Is that in the right sort of position for you? And this is very vanilla. On my screen it looks very white, but it is very vanilla. And I was pleased to say that I had 2 parcels arrive today. So these are the ones that have been held up due to Brexit and everything. And so I had 2 parcels arrive today. One of which has all the new basic white card and envelopes. So I'm looking forward to using those. So it's good to see that things are progressing for us here in the UK. I know the backlog will take a little while to clear, and the new orders are going through fairly quickly. Let's put one up here. But just to let you know, it's all good news. So I'm just keeping this element off the ink pad, basically. and I'm not worrying too much because I'm putting the stalk sort of in the middle. I'm not worrying too much until I get to the point that I forget. Hello, Jill. Nice to have you join us, Jill. Now I want to do one here. I was just saying, Jill, that I've had 2 parcels arrive today, so there is hope, I promise, for everybody. They look a bit like pieces of cheese, don't they, like that? Or weird mushrooms. I should know what these are, actually. I'm sure we were told. Or you never know, Carol. You never know. There we go. Yes, this is a bit more all over than I intended. Right. Okay, let's try something else. Add something else into the mix. So I'm thinking maybe these seed pods here are cute. No, they weren't the class in a box. I'm sorry. They were basic white card, basic white envelopes. So useful, but not as useful my classes as it could be. But never mind. I'm pretty sure everything will arrive next week. So this is Mary Merlot. So these are neutral colours. Oh yes, the new in colour ink refills are not yet available. Because they're relabeling them. But they will be soon, Jill. I think the original ones are coming through, Bumblebee and things like that. So I'm just going to, again, I'm going to keep this stalk a little way away for the moment. And I just want to do this to sort of connect them up together. I think the later your order is in, Jill, the better. So, for once. There we go. So basically all I'm doing is taking the larger images, attaching them to the ones that I've done. Okay, actually let me move this up a little bit so that that's all in view now, isn't it? There we go. Right. So Jill, I hope you've had a good week. Let's add this one in here. So I like these 2 colours together. So crushed curry and Mary Merlot. And I'm deliberately obviously going off the edges just to make it look more realistic. And some of these will overlap and some of them will be separated. There's not a sort of there's not a direct relationship to where I'm putting them. So let's see. I'm pretty sure in Artful Stamping that somebody had already done this stamp set. Oh, well done, Jill. Yes, I had mine back in September, I think it was, so it's good to get that under your belt, isn't it? Go. Okay, let's leave that there for the minute. Okay, so what else have we got? So we've got these 2 sort of little seed pods, and we've got these cute seed heads here and the little helicopters. So let's try this one here. Change colour. So I'm going to go for crumb cake, but I might do some in early espresso, and these ones I'm going to do with the stalks, otherwise they'll look a bit odd on their own. So what I'm going to do is sort of tuck the stalks in here, like that. So they're sort of attached. I mean, obviously in real life they wouldn't be attached to those seed heads, but you know, artistic license and everything. Right, let me see if it comes back. It's let's see, it's dropped out for me on one screen, so I'm hoping it'll be okay. Facebook's had a habit of cutting me short recently. Let's put a couple of these coming in from the side like so. So the nice thing about a One Cheek Wonder is it really doesn't look like anything until you cut it up. So don't be frightened if you look at it and think, oh, I really don't like that. It's amazing what happens when you cut it up. And so this one I could cut into quarters, or you could cut this in half and then this in strips to make a bookmark, or smaller pieces with sentiment. So, or you could do the whole thing, you know, stamp all the way over and then add a sentiment separate, you know, separately on top. So let's just give this a go. There we go. Let's put these in here, and maybe just in there. I feel quite out of practice of One Cheek Wonders, so bear with me. Okay, now we've got these two little sort of dried seed heads, and we've got seeds, and then we've got this little helicopter. So I think I'm going to use the seed heads, and I think I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. Oh, hi Ruth. Thank you. I'm so glad you joined, because I'm pretty sure either you or one of your ladies in your group have done a One Cheek Wonder with this, haven't they, Ruth? That's a bit like that Mossy Meadow. Oh, thanks, Carol. Just going to try a different Mossy Meadow. I'm sure somebody had done it. But I was saying, Ruth, that I feel really hasn't got much more ink on it than the other one has. I might have to switch to something else. Yeah, very out of practice. That's the word of doing a One Cheek Wonder. Ah, okay, and then Connie did. Oh, right, brilliant. Yes, I'm pretty sure I'd seen you do one. And what I should have done if I thought ahead, as I should have had a look at yours, that might give me might give me some inspiration to do it, but never mind. So these are really a bit too light, but I'm going to make up for that in a minute with some honey espresso, which I have re-inked. Just pop that in there. So if I cut this way, I have got some sentiment room here and here, and then for this panel, yes, it might work. We'll see. Okay. So I've got a little bit of early espresso. So I'm going to use perhaps this sycamore helicopter here. And then I'm going to look for a little bit of texture to add that in. So what I'm going to do is I don't necessarily want all of this stalk here. So I'm going to turn my ink pad so I've got the short side of the ink pad towards me. Let's move this up and across. And then just pop that on that edge. So that I've got that little bit there. So that's my plan. So I hope everybody's keeping well. I seem to remember you have moved or are moving, Ruth. Have I got that right? And you know, I seem to remember you'd had notification that you had to move out. And when I caught you the other day, you were talking about it. Let's bring that one in here. Now some of these might get cut off anyway. Sorry if that was out of your view. So I will see. Oh, next Tuesday, how exciting. So have you had access to the new place? Is it empty at the minute? Makes it so much easier if you can, doesn't it? I know. Looking a bit bare over here, isn't it? But I'm not too worried about it. Do a little bit more stamping off. So, okay, I'm going to add a few seed pods in, and then I'm going to look for some bits, dots to add in. Oh, bless you. Oh, renting. That's always a nightmare, isn't it? But well done you. It'll be nice to be in your own place, I'm sure. Okay, so here we have the little seeds. So I'm going to use soft suede for that. Dot these around. They are very cute. So just watch with the smaller stamps, it's very easy to catch the edges because you tend to put a little bit too much pressure on there. But so just take it nice and easy. These will make good coffee beans too, funnily enough. So what's anybody up to at the weekend? So Ruth's obviously packing and getting everything ready. So I'm hoping that's all still about in your view, ladies. Hope so. There we go. There we go. So I do want to leave some areas clear. So let me just use the tiny dots from Forever Fern, and obviously you could, this one in particular would be a really nice one to bring into this set as well, but I'm just going to use the dots because I want the main feature to be the Enjoy the Moment stamp set. It couldn't look more different to that, could it really? So, and that's the nice thing about stamping, is you've got the ability to chop and change things, change the colours. Oh, no worries, Ruth. Thank you for popping in. I'm so glad you did. Yeah, that's the nice thing about stamping, is that you have that option to change things up and about more than some forms of paper crafting. Now I've got this little gap here, and I want to put my, I'm going to put some seeds in there just to fill in that little gap. Otherwise it looks like I've missed something. Oh. Still missed it. There we go. Nobody will now. Right, have I got anything else that's sort of slightly stray? No, I don't think so. So here's my dots, and I think I'm going to just stick with soft suede. Just dab it around like so. So if you weren't with me yesterday, you won't have heard of my great card giveaway, which is coming next week. So I do give a lot of my cards away to charities and local people who can't get out and about at the minute, but I still have plenty of cards left. So what I'm doing next week is the great card giveaway, and I'm filling 5 boxes with cards, assorted cards. So there'll be get well, there'll be anniversary, there'll be birthday. And what I'd love people to do is nominate someone that should receive them. So it could be a care home, it could be a hospital, it could be a person that's self-isolating, any of that. And I'd love you to nominate someone to receive those. So I'll have the boxes ready. They'll all be different. They'll literally all be packaged up, ready, and inviting people to nominate someone each day next week. And all I ask is that you send me their address information privately, obviously, and there'll be a card in there to say that they were nominated by. So that is my plan. Okay, so there is our One Sheet Wonder stamped selection completed. Let's have a look and see how that will cut up. So I've got my Stampin' Up trimmer here. So the logical section here, let me move these out of the way, is to cut this in half like that. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to cut this at 14.35 to start with. No, I'm going to cut it at 13.85 because I'm going to, no, 14.35. Because I want to layer it onto another colour before I do a layer. Dear me. It's Friday, ladies. I'm allowed to think about that. So I'm thinking this here will give me a nice, quite a nice balanced card. So like that. It's almost like seaweed actually. So a sentiment could go in there. It would work almost anyway, really. So that would be one. And then for this one, I like this selection here. But let's have a look and see where that would fall. So if I did that at 9.5, I'm just deciding whether I want more of one side or the other. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? So I'm going to cut that off and do it like that. And again, this would go almost any way. And what you can do, if you do this and you think, well, I've got a lovely space there for a sentiment, but I don't like this gap, you can obviously just stamp in and infill that section there. Okay, so I've got two there. And then for these, let's have a look. That would work quite nicely. So that's the right width. And I just need to side, I quite like this. So I'm going to cut this section off. Like so. And then I can use a selection of different base cards. Actually, all of these seems to work anyway, don't they? I think because I've tilted these round, there's not a natural right or wrong way. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining us.